How's it going, guys? My name is Philip. I'm 27 years old, and I'm from Torrance, California. I'm also a survivor of a spinal cord injury. I'm a full-arm amputee, and I live currently with chronic pain and paralysis. What the heck caused all of that? In 2006, I was on my motorcycle coming home after visiting some friends down in San Diego. All of a sudden, bam, I got hit hard from the side by a pickup truck that ran a red traffic light right into me. When I was hit, I got thrown off, and I came down right on my neck, and I suffered a really rare type of spinal cord injury where the nerve roots were actually pulled out of the spinal cord. And God, it pains me to even think about that. Remembering the pain of that day, it's just, I'll never forget it. Apparently, a lot of the time, if a nerve injury happens, the nerves are severed, or they're cut. They're not uprooted from the spine itself. Unrooting was the case for me, which meant that all of those nerves, all the way down to my fingertips, had zero power getting to them at all, because there was no signal actually coming from the spine telling the nerves what to do. One way to think about this is if you've got a phone charger plugged into the wall, and let's say somehow the wire is cut, or your dog chewed into it, or something, you can go to the damage and you can tape it up. Or if the wires are separated, you can tie them back together. The reason why you can do this, of course, is because the main connection and the main power source is still totally intact at the plug in the wall. If this example is analogous to how you would repair maybe a severed or a cut nerve, then in my case the charger cord itself, the long cord and the wires and everything that make up the charger were not cut, but were completely fine. It's just that the whole plug got ripped out of the wall together and couldn't be plugged back in, by the way, because in my case, with the nerve roots actually pulled out, it would risk putting out all the power in the whole house or the building or whatever that this hypothetical cord is in. For my nerves, trying to plug them back in could have resulted in dramatically more nerve damage. That was not an option. To this day, I still can't believe I walked out of the middle of the street from something like that and coming that close to death or a quadriplegia. So coming out of something like that and how it can really tear you up, honestly, from the trauma and the permanency and the uncertainty of it all, really, I've just been really looking forward to making some videos about these experiences and what I've been learning about with myself and about life through all of this. I've certainly needed a lot of time to go through these things and a lot of time to go through those changes over the years before I could do this, but I think now is the time. And so this series is really intended for me to help you help yourself through some of the challenging things that you might be going through too, by sharing with you how I've really tried to incorporate a few things into my everyday thinking and my everyday decision making. That's patience, perspective, positivity, perseverance, and passion. What I think of as the 5P system to help me adapt to change. And for me, over the years, there were tremendous family issues to adapt to. There was the death of my dad from a violent heart attack the year prior to the accident even happened. I went through some rough amphetamine use and prescription drug abuse. There was and still is chronic pain to deal with. Their anger and aggression were huge problems for me. Self-perception issues, especially going through a decision to amputate in 2012, among many other types of things. It was really living through those tough years that inspired the title of this series too, honestly. How to Fly with a Clipped Wing was inspired by a question that I'd be asked all the freaking time while my arm was still in the arm sling 6 years after the accident. What'd you do to hurt your wing? What happened to your wing? How'd you get your wing clipped? The irony is that it was only until I started really incorporating the 5 Ps into my life that I truly felt like a bird with its wings clipped, actually. Like I was weighed down by the gravity of all these circumstances, especially coming out of a pretty active lifestyle, I'd say. I loved to play American football. I was really interested in soccer and really intrigued by it. I wanted to try it. I loved surfing. I lived for riding my motorcycle, especially with my dad, on our morning rides through the Malibu canyons. Actually, even sometimes when I was supposed to be at school and he was supposed to be at work. Man, I really miss those lovely mornings. And it wasn't until I learned how to consider my life with respect to those 5 elements that I began learning how to adapt to change and how to adapt to living outside of my comfort zone and how to be comfortable with really staring into the eyes of the unknown. Indeed, how to fly despite my clipped wing. The metaphorical title also worked because, as I'll talk about in future videos, I'm one of the few full-arm amputee aircraft pilots in the country, and when I play soccer, I typically play the winger position in the midfield. So I thought that the clipped wing title sounded pretty cool as a kind of nod to those 2 things that I love to do. Please stick around and check out my weekly videos as I release them. Leave me some comments and feedback below on how I can improve my messages to you. I'm really only here to try and help you by sharing what it is that I've gone through. So please don't hesitate to help me do that. Check out my website, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and my Facebook page, and hopefully by working together with you, I'll be able to shed some light on how you too can fly with a clipped wing. See you around.